Jet Setting Jen here. Today we are celebrating 40 subscribers, which is crazy to me to think that anyone is even watching this. A travel agent over here talking about best travel tips, best places to go. Anyways, so thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And today we're going to focus on just some super quick questions that I have right here that I've been asked many times, the same questions. So let's get into it. Okay, so some of the top questions that I get from a lot of people, whether it's clients, whether it's friends, family, etc., people that I meet when I'm traveling, of course. First question I get, how many countries have you been to, Jen? Well, as of right now, we're sitting at 76, soon to be 77. Maybe one day a full list of those are coming out. I don't know. For the moment, that's all I can tell you is around 76. Hold these countries by myself or with other people. I would say the majority was alone. And the majority of these countries traveled was when I was living abroad. So keep that in mind. For another question I get a lot, Jen, how were you able to travel so much? So I was able to travel so much because about 11 or 12 years ago, I took a job in Prague. I took a job in Sydney, Australia. And then behind that, I took a job in South Korea, specifically in Daegu, if you're familiar. And from living in those three places, I was able to extensively travel pretty much all the areas around there. The only one that I didn't get to really explore was New Zealand when I was in Sydney, when I lived in Sydney, because I was just very young and I didn't have a lot of money. But that should explain how I was able to travel just so extensively. I mean, being closer to places you want to go is definitely a gateway to be able to travel more, cheaper, and more frequently. Next question I get a lot. What are your favorite countries to travel to? Loaded question, but I would say my favorite continents to travel to are definitely Europe and Asia. As you guys know, I'm a little biased. I did live in Europe and Asia already. It's not that I don't like Australia or just Oceania in general. I just think it's very similar to the US culturally. So if that's something that you're looking for, then it's still a great place. It's clean, it's nice, it's got a great coffee scene. People speak English. So, there's still a lot to see. There's beaches, there's a great barrier reef. I definitely would still recommend it as a great place to go. For me personally, I like a little bit more adventure and a little bit more cultural that's different from the US. So I would say my favorite countries to visit are usually colder. I would say I'm usually, like I like Scandinavia for the nature. So Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Finland. I places that I've ever seen are probably the Great Wall of China, which is obviously in China, specifically in Beijing. Beijing is super cool. If you guys are interested, we could do a follow-up video on my actual top favorite places, but that would definitely be one. Followed by Machu Picchu. Peru, I absolutely love. It has a soft place in my heart. And I can speak a intermediate Spanish, so for me, that's obviously a much easier place to get around than, for example, China, where I don't speak any Chinese. All the time, I love Iceland, so gotta throw Iceland on the list. I do love Korea. I mean, obviously, again, from living there, I do have a soft spot for Korea. I do love Japan. I do love Taiwan. So I would say those are my top ones if we're just talking generally. I do love Czech Republic. Again, a little biased since I did live there, but I did travel extensively in Europe, and France and Czech Republic are still consistently my favorites. Followed by Portugal. I definitely love Portugal as well. Another one of my favorites. I also love Poland. So, anyone from Eastern Europe that or just wants information on Eastern Europe, I can also do a follow-up video on that. I like Bulgaria a lot. I like Hungary. Really like Budapest. Jen, how much time do I need for a real experience in Europe? I would say, depending if you want to go to one country or multi-country, I would say one country, minimum a week. I never recommend for my clients that they go for more than a week to one country. If you have 2 weeks, even better. I mean, we can combine two countries, for example, Portugal and, for example, Spain or France and Germany or Switzerland and Austria. Say minimum a week. Personally, I would say as long as you can go. That's what I would say. If you could manage 2 weeks, if you could manage a month, if you could manage even more than that, if you're younger and you're taking a gap year, even better. I would just say the more time you have for travel, the better. That's always how I look at it. Okay, so next question we have was, Jen, how many cats do you have and where do they go when you travel? So anyone who knows me knows I actually have four rescue cats. Four, yes, one, two, three, four. And they actually don't go anywhere when I travel. They stay at home either with a pet sitter or with my husband. So either way, they're at home. We actually don't board them, which is a possibility nowadays that you could actually do that. Next question I get a lot, where can I find you online? So just so you guys know, not only do I have my YouTube, but I have an Instagram at Jet Setting Jen, and I also have a TikTok at Jet Setting Jen. Next question, Jen, why do you love to travel so much? I love to travel so much because it was something I was never able to really do when I was younger. The first international trip I took, I was about 12 years old, and I went to visit with my mom my aunt who was living in Holland, and it just always really left an impression on me. I was always really obsessed with Anne Frank and the Holocaust. So if you know anything about that, that was just really an eye-opening experience for me. And because of that, I was always just interested in other cultures, other languages, and just seeing other countries. So I guess that's why. I don't know. Jen, how often do you travel? I do travel quite a lot. I would say this year I have already traveled abroad 3 times. I'm going to travel abroad 2 more times before the year is up. And as far as domestic travel, which, as you know from my other videos, this is only within the US, I would say I've done about 5 or 6 US trips this year, to visit friends or family. So, yeah, I do. I guess for the normal person, I do travel quite a lot.
Ready to work with a travel agent but don't know where to start? You can always drop in my comments or send me an email to my business email, and I'm happy to help you guys plan your next amazing trip.